welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm IceMan, and today we are going to be doing a guide video on the most amazing Foli. So, Foli's a great champ. He's a Dark Elves attack based champion. He's a magic affinity. And as you can see, he's extremely cool looking. Apparently his suit is actually based on a comic character called the Guyver. There's also some films on him, if you've not heard of him. Some pretty cheesy old 80 B-movie films, but they're actually pretty cool to be fair. Mark Hamill actually starred in the first one. So he does have an absolutely amazing skin. I love his daggers, his overall armour, aesthetic. You know, he just looks absolutely amazing. So let's start off and have a look at his skills, shall we? So he's A1, marked for destruction, attacks one enemy 4 times, has a 20% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. This can be 3 books put into it, and that can increase the debuff chance up to 25. But for one enemy 4 times, it's a really good attack. It makes him really viable for the Fire Knight. For a long time I actually used him in the clan boss. He's not the best in the clan boss. But if you haven't got better, he can certainly do an okay job there and do some damage. Obviously, you put Giant Slayer on him, he can do a fair bit of damage for you. He's A2, Bio Disruptor. Even sounds very much like something from the Guyver, which is cool. Attacks 4 times at random. Each hit has a 35% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. All his attacks are based on attack, obviously. He's an attack-based champion. This leech is pretty cool. Obviously, that again helps you on the clan boss because it gives you whole team healing when it lands. Even in dungeon runs, it can really help you keep your team going. And he does some pretty solid damage. It can be booked 4 times. And you can get the cooldown down from 4 to 3, which is cool. The buff chance goes up once. So you can actually end up with a 45% chance of placing leech, which is pretty cool. And bearing in mind, if you're doing something like the clan boss, it's 4 times at random, but there's only 1 boss, so he's going to hit 4 times on the clan boss. And that's 35% chance of placing leech on each hit for 2 turns, so that's really cool. He can really help there. Then if we go for his A3, I absolutely love this ability, Sealed Fate. Even the name sounds cool. It attacks all enemies, decreases their turn meters by 15%, then attacks the targeted enemy. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. This one is really, really cool. Again, it starts on a 5-turn cooldown, can be booked down to 4. Only takes 3 books. So this guy is not book hungry, which is really cool about him, you know. It's like 4 on the first one, 4 on the second one. Let's actually check that. Sorry, 3 on the first one, 4 on the second one, and 3 on the A3. So he's actually one of the best champions I've come across for books. I wouldn't say you necessarily need to put books in him, but obviously it is going to help and he's going to get his cooldowns down, so that's really cool. This ability, the A3 Sealed Fate, can actually do a hell of a lot of damage. If you use him in somewhere like the arena, you put down your decreased defense and weaken, something like that, and then you have him go and he can just wipe an entire team. Even if he's not wiping the entire team, he's more than likely going to kill a couple of people, and those people he does kill, if there's a reviver still up, can't revive because he's just block revived them. So he is absolutely amazing. He's great against Rotos, obviously, because he's got hits like his A1 that do 4 hits, his A2 that can do multiple hits. His A1's the better one for that. Obviously, Rotos has things where you can only do like 50% damage on him and stuff like that, and that's it in a single hit. But because he's got so many hits, he can actually one-shot Rotos, which is really cool. He's really good against people like Tormund. He can stop their revive for the auto revive. The same with Braggers and anybody else who does something similar. So, you know, he is an absolutely amazing champion. Then he's got a passive called Living Armor. Again, absolutely brilliant and really goes quite closely with the Guyver film series or comic books if you look into them. I actually really want to watch the second one. I watched the first one a few months back with my wife. Really enjoyed it. My wife didn't. It was a bit too cheesy and B-movie for her, but I've enjoyed it since I was a kid, and it's still a brilliant film, I think. But I actually prefer the second one. But I unfortunately don't own it and couldn't get hold of it anywhere. It's not on Amazon or anything like that to buy, which was a bit of a shame. So, although he's not so book hungry on his other abilities, obviously his passive does also take a couple of books, but they're worthwhile books because they just basically bring down his cooldown from 5 to 3, which is good. So they're really worthy. The passive, Living Armour, heals this champion by 20% of their max HP, boosts the turn meter by 50% whenever an enemy places a stun, freeze, sleep or provoke on this champion. Immediately removes all stun, freeze, sleep and provoke debuffs from this champion. That's the cool thing about him. This is where I was using him in the clan boss. I was using him for damage. I was putting him in the first position, and it was a bit annoying. Obviously, you keep getting the message that you've not got anybody with an aura in your leader position every time you go to do a run. But the reason I was putting him there was because basically he immediately removes the stun, so he can't be stunned. Then obviously, like I say, built for damage and whatnot, he does a fair bit of damage. He's no longer in my clan boss team, I'll admit, but for a long time, right up until Nightmare, and even in Nightmare for a good long while, he was doing a fairly steady job for me in there, and you know, still worked really well. So this is really cool. Obviously it does have a cooldown, so but it boosts the turn meter by 50%. Obviously stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, all of those things are going to be coming at you in the arena, so he's an absolutely amazing arena champ. I mean, they can still affect you in the dungeon, so I mean, to be fair, this is one of those rare champions, and I do think they're fairly rare, that can play just about anywhere. I maybe wouldn't use him in the spider, but other than that, I'd say he can do work for you just about anywhere. So we've got the gear I've got on him. Let's take a look at his total stats first, shall we? So I've got him at 24,000 health, nothing too big. 3,381 attack, decent but not nuts. In all honesty, I took a couple of pieces off of him that was 6-star to bring him down to 5-star. Again, just to showcase him in more sort of normal gear, attainable gear for everybody. His defense is at 2,000. Bit low for the clan boss, but obviously I'm not using him in the clan boss anymore, so I have changed around some gear pieces. His speed, I'd really like to work on and get that a bit higher, especially for the arena. At 186 he's respectable, but again not nuts, not too high. I'd rather it was up around 200. I'd like to get his crit rate up to 100, but I've settled for having slightly higher crit damage at 221. I'd like to get that even higher, obviously, and do some more tweaking on him and put some better gear on him. But again, it's having the gear pieces. At the moment, the gear pieces I've got, although they're some fairly decent pieces, you know, like we've got all crit damage set here and a speed set, none of them are really nuts pieces. His banner I really need to work on, and I've not been very lucky with that. Well, I've been doing a fair few spider runs lately, up until the latest event started, and then obviously I've stopped to do the event. I've got an accuracy banner on him. I would like this to be higher. Now, the reason I've got the accuracy banner on him is because he does land at decreased defense. To be fair, if I had it, which I don't, but if I had it, and to be fair, it also helps with the landing of the leech, which does come in really handy. Because I'm mainly using him for a nuker now, to be fair, I use him in dungeons and arena still though. I think the accuracy is still useful, and to be fair, I'd like to get a 6-star or 5-star accuracy banner on him with some speed. That would be nice. Maybe a bit of attack for a substat, and try and get some of these stats up a little bit more. But obviously, if you can get him landing, I did have him built up out for more accuracy previously on the clan boss to land his leech. Not by a lot, to be fair, but by a little bit. We've got on for crit damage necklace, attack ring, with a attack percentage is quite a nice roll. I managed to get a double roll in the attack. Obviously, when I can swap out better pieces, these stats will go up, which is nice. We've got him in speed boots with crit rate, crappy roll on flat defense. To be fair, it's only on him because it's got some crit rate, it's got some accuracy, and it's got the and it's in the speed set, and that's purely why it's on him. If I had better, I'd put it on him, but I don't. Any of you guys are free to play or close to it, you full well know the restrictions you face with the energy you've got and trying to farm the gear. Now, I've been playing for probably about 9 months, maybe a little bit longer, but not by much. And even so, I'm still struggling to get my gear up for all the different champions, for all the different areas you need. But even if I look through my account and I say, he's a champion I use all the time, I want to use the best bit I've got on him, I still just don't have better in speed boots necessarily in a speed set. We've got, this isn't his chest piece, to be fair. His chest piece was a 6-star attack piece, although this actually gives him more crit damage. So I may actually keep this and just, when the next gear event rolls round, tomorrow I believe, roll it up and get it up to 16, but I don't want to waste the silver to do it now, just for this video when I've got the event tomorrow. But he'll still do fairly respectable, just like this, I'd imagine. I've basically lost a little bit of attack, gained a little bit crit damage by swapping that out. We've gone for crit rate gloves. Obviously, again, if you can get crit rate in the build, you're better off going for crit damage gloves and doing it that way. And if I could, I would. I just don't, again, have the gear. We've got a fairly nice piece here, crit damage shield with double crit rate roll, accuracy and speed. So every stat there is useful on him, that's great. We've got a helmet again where every stat is useful, crit damage, speed, accuracy with a double rolling speed, very nice piece. And again, a decent weapon where you've got an attack percentage, crit damage percentage, accuracy. The only stat that it's not wasted on him. He fights in the arena, so resistance can be useful, but it's not a top tier stat for him. I would have rather that was crit rate and get my crit rate closer to 100. Again, you play with what you got at the end of the day, and you know, if I trade it out for crit rate, I lose crit damage. So for the sake of 6 or 7 crit rate, I'm going for the higher crit damage. You know, it's one of those rob Peter to pay Paul sort of jobs. You know, if you end up swapping this out, you end up losing that but gaining that. It's, if you've got all the stats, that's great, crack on. But if you ain't, you make the decisions as best you can for your account. I think the game's having some issues this morning, so we've got this loading icon all over the things. Let's hope that the masteries will load up. They do. So anyway, this is the build I've gone for him. I've gone for an offense and support tree. Obviously, I'm using him in the arena. I'm using him in dungeons. I'm no longer using him in clan boss, so I've changed his masteries up somewhat. I did have him down in Giant Slayer. So we've gone crit rate, crit damage, enemies under shield take more damage for the arena, obviously. Whirlwind of Death increases speed for enemies killed, which can come in quite handy. Increase damage on the first hit. Increase damage inflicted to targets with stun, sleep, fear, true fear, or freeze. To be fair, I'd maybe swap that out because it depends what team he's on in the arena. If he's paired with people who are putting that stuff out there, they may well have that. But most of the time these days I'm trying to use him in more of a classic sort of speed comp as a nuker, so that isn't ideal for me. I could do with swapping it over to this or even this, just to get a bit more basic damage out of him, because the debuffs just aren't going to be there. Increase, I mean, to be fair, it does say fear as well, and I do usually run him with Madame Ceres, but her first move is, on my team, is stripping the buffs and putting up the decreased defense, decreased attack. But if the fight goes a little bit longer, she could put the fear up and it could help still. So it's not a completely wasted skill, but again, it's as with any mastery set that you watch, any mastery guides, it's very much based upon gear you're wearing, where you're using them, what champions you're using them with can affect. there's so many variables that you should always look at what is best for your account and not just copy blindly. Stoke to Fury increases damage inflicted by 4% for each debuff on this champion, stacks up to 12%. Now, again, obviously, I'm hoping to go first. I'm hoping to nuke. I'm not going to get any damage out of that. But A, I'm coming down in a flawless execution down here. And B, all this gives me is a shield. This still at least gives me more damage if the fight goes on a little bit longer and champions are getting debuffs on them. And to be fair, that actually boosts his damage for any debuff, it says. So you think that if they've got decreased defense, decreased attack, that's already going to be 8% extra damage just from that. So you're getting the 8% extra damage plus the decreased defense and all the rest of it. So, you know, it is still worth doing. Obviously, I've gone for flawless execution for the extra 20 crit damage. Then over here, obviously, to help land his buffs and everything, we've gone for accuracy, more accuracy, into more accuracy. Decreased turn meter, Law of Steel for his basic sets like his speed set. Obviously, if I was to change him out of a speed set and put, say, more crit damage on him or something like that, if I was getting enough speed out of the gear, then I would look at taking that off and maybe going into something like that to decrease cooldowns. Sniper just gives him a chance to land his stuff a little bit higher. Obviously, it doesn't work on stun, sleep, freeze, fear, true fear, or provoke, but he doesn't do any of those, so that actually works. Helps with his leech, helps with his decreased defense. Obviously, I am putting him with a decreased defense champ, but if hers wears off and his is still going on, it's still going to be helpful. And in dungeons, that's still going to be the case at least some of the time. Obviously, Master Hexers to make those debuffs that he's putting up last longer. And that's his masteries in a nutshell. Obviously, there's much more you could do with him. You could choose different routes. It just depends how you want to go. Right, so let's take him into some content, shall we? And we'll see how we go. Right. Let's go for a dungeon. Now, I believe the Ice Golem's up, so we'll see what my team's like on there. I've got a funny feeling I'm using him, to be fair, in my Ice Golem team. So we'll do Ice Golem 20. Obviously, he's strong here. Oh, no, I'm not using him at the moment. But you know what? I'm going to try taking her out, and I'm going to try putting him in, see how it goes. I don't think I've got 100% success rate with this anyway, but we'll see how it goes. To be fair, I run Ice Golems only when there's events, for the most part, or if I had to do it for like missions for arbiters, so I couldn't really say. I don't tend to run it other than that for the most part. But as you can see, he does a nice amount of damage. He didn't one-shot anybody there, but still did some good damage. I'll leave this to play through a little bit. Obviously, it's not the quickest run in the world. What I'll do is we'll just play through this sort of first bit. It's taken a bit longer than I'd like. I think this might have been a bit quicker without him, to be fair. If it succeeds, we'll show you that. If it doesn't, I'll show you that. But okay, so and we're back at the end of the fight. As you can see, it was a fairly long fight at 7 minutes 12. I did say I've not trialled it this way before. I usually do it with lure. I think it still comes in usually at about 5 or 6 minutes. It's not a fast strat. I definitely need to do some fine tuning on my team and all the rest of it. But to be fair, the one with lure was the first one I'd found where I was actually managing to kill it reliably, I think. And I did actually, I said before that I was actually failing twice out of 10, but I think actually this was 100% success rate, other than the odd really rare one, like 1 in 20 or 30 or something. And that was because previously I was using, say, lure and Foli, and I was doing too much damage. The boss was doing too many hits, bringing his adds up again too often. The great thing about Foli on this fight is that his block revive can kill those adds and keep them down. I had it there on this fight. Obviously I didn't show you it, but one of the adds, only one annoyingly, he managed to get his block revive on, so he stopped coming up. The other one they kept killing, the timing was off, so he'd do his seal fate when the guy was too high, and then they'd end up killing him and that just kept happening all through the fight, so he stayed up the whole time. But the handy thing is that still meant I only had to deal with one instead of two, and if the timing comes right, obviously he can block revive on both of them, and then you're only dealing with a boss, so that's great. Really makes him very valuable here. So that's him in the Ice Golem. Now obviously he can do the dragon. I believe the dragon is blue. Yeah, dragon's blue for stage 20, so obviously he's just neutral there, but he's still handy. He can still help you with the waves if you haven't got an AoE damage dealer. He's very good. Spiders, like I say, I wouldn't use him in spiders. It's not somewhere I'd play him personally. Finite, I think the affinity matchup might be off. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm not there on this yet, but obviously he's actually a weak affinity on the finite. Is for finite 20 is the only thing, but it'll certainly help you on earlier stages. And if you're struggling for champs to get the shield down, it'll definitely still really help you anyway, because a weak hit is still a hit, so it's still going to help bring the shield down with all his multi hits. So he's not perfect for finite 20, which is a real shame, because obviously with his multi hits, that would obviously be one of his better dungeons. If it wasn't for that, obviously you can do any of the keeps, and he's very good. In Minotaur, he's not going to have a problem. So let's take him into the arena and show you where I feel he's best suited for. I do use him in my main arena team. I do use him in... Actually, let's just reset and do a fresh page. So, I use him in my main arena team. I use him in my 3v3 arena teams. So, let's get going. We'll try this fight first. We'll take Astrolith out. She was only in there, to be fair, due to the fact that I had to do it with a full faction. It's kind of nice that I've got some fairly decent Dark Elves. This is actually my main arena team at the moment. Anybody who's seen a previous video of mine, I believe, where I showcased the team I was using here with Sia, I've now swapped her out for the moment, and I'm trying this more traditional speed team. So we've got our speed lead, speed booster, into our debuffer, into our two damage dealers. Sia's a great champ. I was enjoying using them, but it was a little too hit and miss, and if you were getting people interrupting them and not letting them get their stuff off, it was just a right pain. So I do need to work on Gorgrab, get him a bit faster. Obviously I need to progress and try and get Arbiter and a better speed lead in there, but on this account that's going to take a long time. I'm missing a few key champs for spiders and fire knights. I just don't have the turn meter reduction for the most part. Right, let's do the debuffs. Going for the nuke. See, now that's two champs down. Not they've got a reviver, but if they did, those two would not be coming back up after that. And let's finish him off. Oh, of course, Brackus comes back for one. And goes and kills Foli. The handy thing there is, A, we've got a revive. This just drags the fight out, makes it slightly more annoying. But it's certainly not going to stop me. Should try it on this one. See how we're doing. So we do a couple of fights just to showcase what he can do in the arena. He is great. He's a meta champion in the arena. He's great at dealing with Rotos and the like. A number of platinum players use him. Obviously a much higher build than what I've got. But I'm still finding him really good at this rate anyway. Really managed to strip the shield off of Brackus. That's a bit annoying. But we still managed to block revive him, so he's not coming back. As I said at the start, that's really handy. Otherwise he'd be back up and hitting me. Let's see if we can take out Bad L. He's obviously quite tanky. Not quite, but rather close. And you can see the benefit of this team. If I don't nuke them straight out because I'm not quite set up enough for it, I've not quite got the damage, it just goes to really show. See, there we go. We'll leave it at that with the fights. Long enough video anyway. So it really goes to show, I mean, you saw the sort of level of gear I'm in. I mean, all 5-star stuff, a mixture of blues and epics, I think maybe some legendary, but you know, that's a fairly standard thing. Some pieces are even only 4-star. There's a lot of room for improving him with substats and the like. All in all, he's an absolutely amazing champion. Like I say, he may not be meta or brilliant for the clan boss later on, but certainly as you're coming up, he can be used quite well. He will shrug off the stuns, so that's great. He can deal a lot of damage, that's great. He can put out the leech, which helps heal and keep your team up. Obviously, I don't think he does enough of it. It's not good enough on its own to just mean that you can't wear lifesteal. I think I trialed that and it was, I mean, it was doing all right, but obviously I was still lasting a lot longer with lifesteal as well. But it certainly helps the lifesteal keep you going longer. So you put them in like, you don't really need necessarily another dedicated healer if you've got him doing the leech and all your champions in lifesteal, and that's great. He's absolutely brilliant in the arena. He's very solid on dungeons. All in all, he's just a great champ. You know, if you've pulled him, I'm guessing that's why you're going to be checking out a newer video like this. You didn't get him in the fusion. I mean, I wasn't even playing when the fusion came out, as I'm sure many other players weren't. If you pulled him, he is an absolutely brilliant champ. I've been using him ever since I got him in many aspects of the game, and I'm sure you will do for a long time to come. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please hit that like button. Feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to communicate and talk with my viewers a bit more. And feel free to hit that subscribe button to get notified of future content coming out from my channel. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.